Hello, everybody. This is the third uh, video in the series about the 3-day addiction challenge. This would be the third day, the morning of the third day. I want to give a quick update about yesterday and I guess tell you a little bit about what I feel right now. Sorry for the disheveled appearance. I feel terrible and I feel like I look terrible. I don't know if I actually do look terrible, but the feelings are that I look terrible. I feel like a sad sack of excrement. I don't know. I think most people can understand. Let me just see if my finger's on the mic. It was on the mic. I hope that doesn't affect the audio too much. Sorry. Should be better now. Yeah, all right. So I think people can understand what it is like to judge oneself. Um, it happens a lot to most of us, and we rarely pay attention to it. Many of us don't really see it as a problem. Many of us, such as myself, use it as a kind of motivating force or believe that it is motivating. Um, I think that is up for speculation, whether self judgment really is motivating, but I'll tell you a little bit later I'll explain what I mean there. Anyway, just to give you an update about yesterday, and actually I want to give you another update about the day before. The other big thing that happened to me on the heels of the last video, that night that I witnessed a crash, and I also got a bad news about a check that I was expecting in the mail. I also witnessed there's a my parents are I'm in my parents' home. They're letting me stay here. They're very kind to do that. And am I mooching off them? Maybe a little bit. Anyway, um, they have a mouse problem, and they recently borrowed a mouse catching cat from some friends who are on vacation. And last night, or not last night, but the night before, the night of the first day of my challenge, the cat, after a few days, finally found and caught a mice. I'm sorry, a mouse. Found and caught a mouse. And my mom knocked on my door and said, "Hey, come down. Haru has gotten a mouse." So I went down, and my mom was like, "I don't know if it's dead yet. Um, it may not actually be dead." And I was watching Haru play with the mouse, and he was having a lot of fun with it. And kind of, how I'm sure most people have seen or know about how cats play with mice, but they'll, grab it by with it with grab the mouse with its claws and like maybe throw it in the air, bat it around, and all manner of things. And anyway, it was doing all this, and the mouse was squeaking and in pain, really, and it was being tormented. And to watch that was very difficult. Um, I think it's the part of me that wants to be a vegetarian that sees that as rather horrific. And yeah, already I feel kind of judgmental towards myself that, you know, why am I such a pansy? Why do I feel for animals in that way? You know, since time immemorial, animals eat animals, humans eat animals. And if you are someone who believes in purely evolution, from only who only believes in evolution, then humans aren't really humans. We're just another animal. Um, I don't believe that. I believe that we're more than another animal, that we are the highest creation of God. Sometimes I don't believe that. But anyway, it's not. It's rather difficult to watch a cat playing with a mouse and watch the mouse squeak in pain and kind of give up and just wait for its torment to end. I don't know what the mouse is thinking or what's going on with it. Maybe it's not thinking anything, but sure as heck, it's in pain. So that was rather horrible. That was the other thing that I wanted to mention in the last update. So as far as yesterday, this is hard for me to talk about, but I had a discussion with a friend, and I've decided to point out a major problem that he has, and I feel that when I spend time with him, he doesn't really hear the advice that I'm giving, and I kind of have to humor him and uh, and say, well, it's okay, and it's like he'll act badly, to put in a very I won't be specific about this, but he will act in a certain way that is not very enjoyable when you don't really want to be in his company when he's like that. And I'm feeling kind of down in the dumps because it's very possible that he may watch this, and I don't know what the reaction will be. Anyway, um, I feel that it's important to say as far as my own journey, so that's why I'm talking about it. And I'm not being specific about the name, of course. But anyway, he'll act badly, and you'll point it out, and then he argues with it, and then he will kind of move into another tangent and excuse it and justify it, and that's been kind of the his modus um, operandi, and I'm not helping him at this point, and I don't feel that I can help him, and I don't feel that pointing it out again would help him. And at the same time, I don't want to spend time with him when it feels like that's just feeding the emotional addiction that he has. And so I feel that I would be in the wrong if I were to even spend time with him or even to communicate with him. So I mentioned that, and not in those words, but in a more succinct way. And he told me to fuck off. And that was kind of hard to take, but it was very telling. When someone reacts angrily, um, it's very telling. And being that he had never acted that way to me before, you know, it's very telling about our relationship and what it means. So I'm bringing up all of this because it's very interesting the things that happen in your life, especially when you start tackling some things in your own self. In my case, I'm trying to deal with 6 major addictions of mine, and these are just the most obvious ones, as I've said in my first video. There's probably many more. I'm sure there's many more. But yeah, I'm just dealing with those 6. So what else do I want to say? This morning, I want to show you one thing. I'm not working at this time, and I am enjoying this opportunity. Basically, for the month of July, I'm going to be with my parents and try to read and study some spiritual work and try to work on myself and eat well and things like that. Um, Try to get in better shape generally. Um, my feelings towards work and finding a job are basically I don't want to very much. I'm scared of the job world. I don't feel that I will fit into a lot of kind of corporate based jobs where you're expected to act a certain way, and I don't feel that I can always act the way that is expected of me. But anyway, I figure while I'm here in Bridgeport, I should do some work. I shouldn't just stay on my butt all day, I guess. And so I wrote these cards, and it says Theo Kirkley. It says my number. Maybe I shouldn't show the number. Now you can see it. In Bridgeport until the end of July. Call or text me for simple labor jobs like moving or organizing stuff, painting, cleaning, or just to have someone to talk to. All work is done voluntarily. So I don't think I'm a very skilled laborer, and for that reason, and for others, I don't want to charge for anything. Anyway, I thought I got about 8 of these cards that I wrote down, and I've been walking around the neighborhood, or no, I've been planning on walking around the neighborhood and giving it to people that I know in case I can help them with something, and I some make my time useful, as I think. Now that occurred to me like Monday. What day is it today? I don't know. Anyway, I think it's Wednesday. But it occurred to me Monday to do this, and today is Wednesday, and I made the cards yesterday, and I haven't walked around. I could have walked around yesterday, but I didn't. July 4th. Yeah. So that would have been Monday that I thought about it. Tuesday I made the cards. Anyway, today, it's the morning. I have the perfect opportunity to walk around and hand out these cards to people, and I'll tell you what, I just don't want to. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want anyone to see me. Well, that's most of it. I feel so ugly, and I'm very self-conscious of how I look, and I feel like I'm so worthless that walking around telling people, "Hey, I could do some work for you for free. Hire me for a little while," is so um, it would just smack of, oh my God, here's another, you know, man child 31-year-old white guy that is living with his parents that can't take responsibility over his life, hasn't found what he wants to do with his life, and just wants some company with people. And that's why he's actually willing to stoop to the level of doing work for others. Now, I don't know if that's the way that people would think if they saw me or if I handed them one of these cards, but that is the way that I think that they would see me, and that's the point. And so I feel kind of that's basically essentially where my head is, and I don't want to give these cards to anybody at this time. And besides that, like this 3-day addiction challenge, everything's been going great, pretty much. I'm amazed at how well I'm doing. Um, I'm grateful to some degree that I'm being sensitive to these larger emotions that are in me. But what I want to say in regards to this topic is that, like, I've given the advice to other people that when you're scared, do it anyway, and then just feel how you feel. So in this case, with the cards and handing it out to people, I'm terrified of what people would think about me. I'm terrified of standing there, not knowing what to say, and maybe trying to justify my life. I feel like for some reason I have to justify my life in front of somebody. I don't know why I would think that, but I do. I feel like I would be a huge bother to them, and I'm scared to death of actually doing this. Yesterday I was pumped about, or really Monday I was pumped about it. Tuesday writing the cards, I was a little pumped about it. I wrote 8 cards, and I thought, really, there's probably only 5 people that I'd want to give these cards to. But I'll just, I cut up a piece of paper, and there are 8 pieces on the paper, so I just thought, well, I might as well give 8, and maybe I'll find 8 people to give it to. And anyway, so sorry to go on a tangent, but basically, I'm scared to death about going to see people and hand these cards to people. And what now if I followed my own advice, the advice that I give to other people, I should just do it anyway. I should just go out anyway and face my fear and um, yeah, face my fear. But I don't want to do that. I thought about it. I quabbled internally with myself, or I guess with whatever spirits are with me, if there are spirits with me, you know, whether I should go out or not. And I decided that, I'll make, well, I decided I'll lay down and I'll feel what I'm feeling because ultimately this is just a fear. But before I decided that, I, like one thing that I've noticed about myself is that I make a lot of promises and I don't fulfill them. I do not fulfill many of my promises. One time when I was younger, I told a friend that I would find people to rent his apartment. He was like trying to find people for his apartments, and I said, you let me stay in your apartment, and I'll fill up your house, with people. And I promptly did not go about doing that. I did not go about doing that. I waited 3 days before I took any serious action on that, and then his daughter kicked me out. His daughter talked with him and like basically made me out to be a moocher, which I guess I was. I think I have to admit that I was. I was a moocher, and then I was thrown out. And there have been a lot of instances I feel like that, and I feel that the only thing that's reliable about me is how unreliable I am. That was a catchy phrase that I thought of earlier. So I'm trying to be funny about it, but the feeling of it is pretty awful. It's kind of a feeling of I can't make it in this world. I can't make anything of myself. It's ridiculous that I would have any dreams of any kind. You know, to think that I could actually motivate myself to go for my dreams, to go for it, when I say things and make promises and don't carry through, don't follow through on them, it just all collectively just makes me feel like a complete idiot and dumb and worthless and stupid and all that. So that's a lot of self judgment, and that's how I'm feeling. And um, honestly, I don't think I'm going to go out there today and hand these cards to people. I think that's the best thing that I can do. Maybe it isn't the best thing I can do. Maybe if I just wrote down what my feelings are, the way I'm telling it to people in this video recording, maybe that would be the better thing to do. Um, in some ways, I think that would be the better thing to do. Maybe I would get through the fear, and then after I get through the fear and release it, then I'll go out there. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just stay mired in other things, and I'll never. Anyway, this is just an update of my life and how I'm feeling doing this 3-day addiction challenge. And the one thing that I want to drive home to whoever cares to watch this is that through moment to moment, there are so many emotions that you could be feeling, that you could be sensitive to. Life is just brimming with emotional depth, I guess, is the best way I can say that. And it's kind of sucks that we can't feel the vitality that is an opportunity for us. It's an option to feel these emotions all the time instead of suppress them and push them down and everything. I mean, I remember I was talking to one friend and I was like, when I get to the point where I go to the grocery store to buy groceries, and I am so excited about that. And I am in the grocery store and I'm buying groceries and I'm seeing the food laid out and I'm noticing how clean the floor is and thinking about the fact that somebody actually cared enough to clean that floor for me. And maybe that's addictive, that thought, I don't know. but looking at all the food and noticing the even the structure of the the building in which I'm in, or looking at the people and watching them pick out food themselves, and noticing this maybe somewhat dissonant song and dance of life play out. When I go to that grocery store and I am in the moment, in the present moment, and I can actually enjoy it and get a feeling of ecstasy from my entire shopping experience, then I'll know that I've made it. I've made it to a place where life is exciting, life is brimming with opportunity, and every moment you have the delicious anticipation of what could come next. Something I wrote once, and I don't know if delicious is the right word, but I've talked way too long again, and I should really stop. Thank you to whomever decided to watch this. I do appreciate you tuning in, and I wish you well in your own life and experience.